Hello. Uh, my name is Garrett. This is my week 7 and 8 uh, videos of me trying to grow out of rock bottom, become the person I want to be. For anyone who has never seen any of these videos, my first video I ever posted, I gave a pretty in-depth summary of what rock bottom was in my life. I'll give like just a very brief recap, just for context. Essentially, since I was 13, I really struggled with an escalating porn addiction, and also just developing an aspect of my personality that is really manipulative and hedonistic and pursues pleasure and immediate gratification over everything else. Um, and I have struggled with some pretty core negative beliefs about my worth as a person. And um, over the course of years, I really wanted to become someone extraordinary. I really wanted to build myself into a great person, someone capable of having a lot of impact. But I uh, just collapsed with these behaviors, and the porn addiction escalated into visiting escorts and visiting trans escorts, which I'm not religious now, but I had a really religious upbringing, and that filled me with an incredibly deep shame. And I spent a year kind of just uh, spiraling over. I mean, I spent 6 years of just I'd build myself up and then crash, and then crashes would get lower and lower and lower until I dug myself a really deep hole. Um, and I, in all these videos, I've said I'm not there anymore, uh, which I'm not, but I think I'm closer than I realized. So yeah, I will go over the last 2 weeks, which I don't want to. They've been terrible. Uh, I find it funny, really sad, but funny because it's easier to laugh at it. That the last video I was making a big deal about how this week was bad because I relapsed with porn and watched like an hour of porn. Man, the last 2 weeks have been fucking atrocious. But it's what I'm here for. This is why I'm doing it, is to show it all. So I'm gonna show it all. Um, so, uh, I have, between the 2 weeks, worked 2 out of 10 of my full days. Uh, my revenue suffered as a result of that. My positive habits have been good. It's kind of the one thing I cling to in all this. Is you know, in the past I've really, when I spiral completely, and I just give up on everything. And that's one of the things I've tried to really hold on to, is like I don't have to give it all up. Like I can still do the positive things. So the positive behaviors, positive habits have been really good. Still, negative habits, porn has been consuming, uh, overwhelmingly bad. Um, so in that last video, uh, this is when I initially relapsed. It had been about 3 months since I'd watched porn. This, I felt pretty terrible about it, but like overall, I wrapped it up fairly quickly. Then last week, I like relapsed again on Thursday and Friday, and then again on Monday and Tuesday. Uh, but it wasn't like all consuming. I was still functioning fairly well. This week has been awful. I have failed to overcome 16 urges. I've watched over 10 hours of porn. I have texted 19 escorts. And I visited one. This has been a really hard week. It's been a really hard month, honestly. I broke up with my girlfriend a week ago. And I have always been someone who's really struggled to deal with my emotions. I don't think I've learned how to. When I feel motivated and when I feel at peace and joy and inspiration, I do really well. And when I feel bad, I collapse. And I feel a lot of things from this breakup. I feel extremely sad. I feel really guilty. And I don't think I've excused falling off this week under this guise of like, I'm going through something hard and I need to work through it. And I need to allow myself to work through it. And then I've immediately been doing things that have completely hindered my ability to work through it. I do feel really sad. Sometimes it's kind of all consuming. Sometimes I am able to distract myself. But I feel really sad and I feel really guilty, but I also feel really numb because I have just been medicating and escaping the emotions. And it's I think become this storm for me, where I feel really sad and guilty, and I am scared that I fucked up and I'm gonna regret. I'm scared from the breakup, and I feel deeply ashamed and scared and angry because of the poor news and because I'm allowing myself to spiral. Especially because yeah, doesn't matter. And all of those emotions have just kind of resulted in me kind of spiraling out of control again. In this whole week, there's that meme of I can't remember what it's from, but of that person standing in a burning house and just screaming, "It's gonna be okay. It's all okay," as everything's breaking down and collapsing and burning down around them. And I feel like that's been me this week, where I've just tried to tell myself, like, it's okay, I'm okay, and I'm not. I'm spiraling. And there's always an excuse, there's always a rationalization why. Honestly, this whole time with the texting escorts, I still really didn't think it was going to happen. I said that to my therapist yesterday. That, like, yeah, I've been doing it, but anytime it comes time to actually, like, move forward and go to them, there's an immediate return of rationality, where I'm saying like I don't want to do this again. I don't want to open this door. And then last night I got drunk, which I haven't been drunk in a year and a half. Shouldn't have done that. No reason to, but I did. Again, because I've just been spiraling, and I've let that part of me that just gives in and craves escape from my emotions take control. And it was kind of a perfect storm of I was drunk, and the escort I texted responded immediately and was like 2 minutes away from me. And I just went. And it was a very different experience. Because I did my standard, like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to drive there. And then I get there and I text them and I say, like, I'm not actually going to do it, but I'm going to get out of the car. And then I get out of the car and I walk to the hotel room and I turn around a couple times. And then just, like, that part that wants to do it just says, fuck it. Like, just do it. Just send it. Like, just past the point of no return. And I did. And I went in the room. And I paid them. And I didn't do anything because I started to panic. And I just got up and pushed them off and said, like, I don't want to do this. I want to leave. And I ran to the door and ran out the door. Which, to some degree, I am proud of that, I think. I'm really relieved that I didn't fully do it. Because, like, I know how that feels. I know what comes out of that. And it's just, like, a complete breakdown. And I think there's potential that last night was a very powerful experience. But nonetheless, I don't know. I feel really scared and really sad and really ashamed. I wanted nothing more last night than to call my ex. Because I've never felt panic like that. I've never... Like, I just wanted comfort so bad. But I can't do that. It's not her problem, it's mine. I need to figure this out. I need to overcome this. I can't let someone else be my crutch. It's not fair to them. Even if we're in the relationship, it's not fair to them. But especially now. And that kind of, I don't know. I've been spiraling really bad. And I think, I don't know, my lows are still higher than they used to be. Because what I used to do was just, like I said, give up entirely. I would just completely collapse, be consumed by my negative emotions, and just give in to anything. Weed, porn, binge watching shows, YouTube, anything that could take over my conscious being, so that I couldn't think and feel. Uh, and it was just endless distraction. And as I endlessly distracted, the consequences and the negative emotions and the misery stacked higher and higher. And there would be a crossover point where the distractions weren't working anymore, and all I felt was a deep misery and self hatred. And I'm still not doing that right now. Like, I immediately texted like 5 people. And that's the other thing I used to do, was just hide. Like, I would hide it all. I would be so ashamed. And for months, I would refuse to own it. I would try to bury it and ignore it. Uh, and I would allow it to just sit inside me and erode my well being. Um, I refuse to do that. I can't go back to that. There's a part of me that just wants to die. Because I'm so tired of this. But I believe that I will make it through. To some degree, I have to believe that, because I will kill myself if I didn't. And I believe I can do something with this. I really think if I can make it through this, if I can figure this out, then I can help other people figure it out. And there's a book I love called Man's Search for Meaning, where he talks about meaning is what keeps people going. When you're suffering, you have to find a reason for the suffering. You have to attach it to something that matters. I think that's what I'm doing. Because when I just sit and look on my past, I hate it. I think I've spent most of my life hating who I am and being miserable and hating my circumstances. And a lot of it is self-induced. I mean, it's addictive behavior. But that addictive behavior is rooted in pain. But yeah, I'm still holding on to that vision of a better future, and that vision of a future where I can take every experience I've had and I can take the misery I felt and use it to help. And there's kind of two other, I don't know, I still haven't processed all of this, but there is some takeaways from the last month of my life, that I've already recognized. And one is, there's an overall pattern of avoidance. Like, this part of me that goes to these behaviors, and does the instantly gratifying thing, and runs from my negative emotions. It's a part of me I've built up that is terrified of being uncomfortable and terrified of feeling pain, and who takes the easy, comfortable action immediately, at the cost of authenticity and well-being and growth, in the long term. And I think the reason I relapsed initially and the reason I, yeah, fell back into this. I had 3 months where for the first time ever, I felt like I was the most transparent and authentic person that I'd ever been. And I felt really good. I felt genuine. And I felt like I was doing right by myself and the people in my life. And I was doing really good as a result, emotionally and with the growth I'm trying to achieve. But I let this part of me back in. It's not fair of me to like disclose a lot, but regarding my relationship, where uh, I started to have thoughts and feelings that I knew I should talk about, but I was terrified of talking about because I was scared of what it meant. I was scared it meant a breakup would happen, and my girlfriend had become the biggest source of comfort in my life. And so I avoided, and I allowed that part of me back in. And I gave him an inch, and then he took more and more. And that same part of me that avoids the difficult conversations and avoids the potential discomfort that will come from them is the same part that avoids my emotions and avoids facing discomfort. And then as I spiral out of control, I face a path of I can either pull myself out of it and own it and face the misery and the discomfort and the negative emotions and work through it, or I can just push it off and keep going one more day. And it's all the same process, where I think for me to truly move past this, I think I need to become someone who is genuinely authentic at all times. Like, I need to become aware of that tendency in myself to push off hard conversations, to push off uncomfortable circumstances that I know need to happen, instead take the easy, disingenuous path. Because when I allow myself to give in there, I am opening the door to the most destructive parts of myself. And so I think that is a big thing for me. That is a core area of growth that I've been aware of, but I don't think I've been aware of how important it really is and how much damage it's caused and how much it's influenced these destructive behaviors. I've been really focused on my entire journey of trying to overcome this on the behaviors themselves and the behavioral patterns and how to overcome the neural wiring and the effect it has on the brain. But I've failed to see clearly how much this is it's an all-consuming identity that I have developed that just avoids difficulty and pain and discomfort by making the easy, comfortable, instantly gratifying decision. And that brings me to like the second takeaway, I guess, I've had from this experience so far. Again, I feel like there's a lot to process. that I have not processed yet. This is kind of the first step I'm taking recording this video to try to get myself back on track and to fully own it and take steps forward. I think true growth, true change has to come both behaviorally and on a deep identity level. And shifting an identity and changing underlying foundational belief systems, I think, is something that's really important. It's really hard to fully understand and quantify and test. I think I have a way better understanding of behavioral patterns and how to shift behavior than I do how to fundamentally change identity. But my understanding of it right now is it takes a lot of time. And I think the steps I took when I started seeing success 3 months ago, I owned all of my failures and my betrayal and my destructive behavior to my girlfriend, who was the person who I by far was betraying the most with it and who I was hurting the most. And that relinquished a lot of shame in me. It created a strong motivation to do better because I saw the pain that I caused. And I had to face it. It was real. I could not pretend like what I was doing was not wrong. And it filled me with a sense of obligation and responsibility to do better. And it helped me find peace with it because she accepted me and forgave me. When I still struggle to forgive myself. Like, I think there's still a part of me that really hates who I am and is really angry at myself. But that gave me the ability to move forward and to start building a new identity. And that momentum I built with positive behaviors and avoiding negative behaviors and trying to deliberately change my thought process created change. And I think I started to shift. And I started to adopt and become this person who I'm not chasing growth because I hate myself and because I feel worthless and I feel like I need to achieve and be better than everyone in order to have value. That's who I was, and that's somewhat who I still am. But I think I started as I strived and took positive steps, I started to solidify the identity or shift into the identity of someone who does love himself and who chases growth because I love the process of growing and I love the impact my growth can have on the world. But as I reached a point where I started avoiding discomfort again, I let that old way of being slip in. And I've slowly started shifting back. Where at first, when I first relapsed, I didn't just collapse because I'd built up some momentum and I'd built up and shifted in a positive direction. But as I've continued to avoid and escape, I think I've just started shifting back. I don't know. I think true change will require years of work. Like, I just don't think the human brain, I think it absolutely can change on a fundamental level. I think core belief systems and core identity structure and behavioral patterns can all change completely. But it takes a lot of time and sustained effort. And it is a gradual shift. There is no answer that will solve it all immediately. There is no behavior that's going to change it all. I think it is a gradual shift, and it is continuous action that creates that change. And one failure does not break it, but allowing one failure to turn into a cascade of failure will cause a shift back. Yeah, this is way longer video than the other ones. I don't know if anyone's watching these or ever will. I have no idea if this format works. I feel like, from what I've seen, most people who've clicked, which are very few, don't actually watch them. So I think I'm talking to myself more than anything. But right now, I think this helps me. And I think it is kind of self-absorbed. Like, there's probably a reason no one's watching, because it's just me sitting here talking about myself. But I'm hoping that me sitting here talking about myself and trying to work through this will one day allow me to focus more on others and helping others. So if anyone's actually watched this, I very much do appreciate it. And I value your attention a lot. And yeah, as always, building a community. It's gonna links in the bio. It's not completed yet. If there's interest, you can go look at it. I'm not gonna push it right now, because I need to figure it out myself before I start really trying to market that, I think. But yeah, again, if anyone's watched it, I appreciate you. And I will be back next week. So until then, I hope you experience the growth that you're looking for in your life.